Welcome to this video overview of a critically important topic. It is natural to be challenged with converting a broad subject area to a narrow and specific research topic. This video will help you understand what this is all about and share some insights to help you along the way. Take a listen.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you are just beginning your journey as a doctoral student right now, well, first of all, congratulations. You are embarking on a truly phenomenal intellectual adventure. These earliest steps, they are often the absolute most confusing. So today we are going to tackle one of the biggest hurdles beginners face. We're talking about that critical and sometimes super frustrating shift from having a broad subject area to landing on a manageable, defensible doctoral topic. It's really a journey of narrowing your focus, and I'm here to guide you through exactly how to do it. Okay, let's dive into this structured roadmap for how we're going to systematically rescue you from the trap of studying, well, everything. We'll quickly run through the difference between a subject and a topic, why the confusion happens early on, and then a really cool concept called the funnel process. After that, we'll look at why specificity is actually your strength, how to establish your research boundaries, and why developing your topic is an ongoing, iterative loop. All right, part one, subject versus topic statements. You know, it is incredibly common for new doctoral students to experience this early illusion. You pitch a general area of interest, say leadership or maybe teacher burnout, and boom, you think you've got your final dissertation topic. But the reality is, those are just broad subjects. They're totally legitimate, but they are very vague starting points. A true doctoral topic statement, it requires real precision. It explicitly identifies a specific phenomenon, a population, unique context, and a crystal clear research focus. It actually has the precision required to support rigorous research. I really want you to remember this golden rule. Broad interest areas create conversations, but narrow topic statements create research studies. Listen, being passionate about a broad subject like healthcare leadership or workplace motivation, that is exactly what gets you into a doctoral program in the first place. But it's my job to firmly guide you toward academic precision. To graduate, you need a highly precise study, not just an interesting conversation. Moving right along to part two, why the confusion happens. So, if the difference between a subject and a topic is so huge, why do so many smart students get stuck here? Well, it boils down to a pretty fundamental disconnect between student expectations and faculty feedback. From your perspective, you might say, I want to study leadership and employee engagement. Your professor smiles and says, hey, that sounds like a good area. You walk away thinking your topic is completely locked in. But in faculty translation, we're only evaluating the viability of the general direction. We definitely aren't approving a final research design yet. When you pitch an early idea, let me pull back the curtain on what's actually running through your faculty's heads. We are evaluating specific things. Is this subject academically appropriate? Does it actually fit the discipline of your specific degree? Is there likely enough existing literature available to ground the work? And, paradoxically, we're asking, is the area broad enough right now to support the narrowing you're going to have to do? We are listening for potential, not a finished product. Okay, let's hit part three, the funnel process. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this funnel metaphor represents the exact cognitive shift you need to make. Step one is the wide opening, your broad discipline, like business. Step two is your broad subject, maybe leadership. Step three gets a bit tighter, your narrowed area. So let's focus on transformational leadership. Finally, step four is the pinpoint, right at the bottom. That is your doctoral topic statement, which looks at specific behaviors within a very set population. You have to actively step yourself down this funnel to arrive at a truly operationalized study. Let me give you an instant aha moment here. Let's read these two examples back to back. Before the funnel, you have something like leadership impact on employees. Okay, very broad. After the funnel, you get the relationship between transformational leadership behaviors and employee engagement among remote IT employees and mid-sized healthcare organizations in the Midwestern United States. Do you see how dramatically narrowing transforms the idea? That first one is basically a Google search. The second one, that is a doctoral dissertation. And that highly narrowed example worked because it contained very specific building blocks. A focused topic identifies a specific leadership approach, a measurable organizational outcome, a strictly defined employee population, a clear organizational context, and a geographic boundary. These specific elements are the literal building blocks that make a study manageable, measurable, and ultimately defensible to your committee. Which brings us to part four, Why specificity is strength. I hear this fear all the time from beginning students. They ask, but wait, if I narrow my study this much, won't my research be too small or insignificant? Actually, no, the exact opposite is true. Resisting the narrowing process invites an absolute methodological nightmare. Broad studies lead to cascading failures. I'm talking unclear variables, totally undefined populations, and really vague research questions. Your literature review is going to become this overwhelming, endless ocean of reading, your data collection will be impossible to execute, and your methodological alignment completely weak. Look, broadness does not equal importance. It equals a study that you literally cannot finish. So the crucial point here is understanding this vital academic term, operationalization. It is the process of making abstract concepts specific enough to examine systematically in research. You just cannot study a massive abstract concept like culture or motivation in a vacuum. You have to operationalize it. What type of motivation? Measured exactly how? With what specific tool? Specificity is what creates the strength of your methodology. Now, for part 5, establishing research boundaries. A major developmental shift in your doctoral education is realizing that strong scholarship is defined just as much by what your study will not address as by what it will. A dissertation contributes one carefully defined piece of knowledge to an existing body of literature. It is not intended to solve an entire field-wide problem all by itself. Establishing boundaries is a massive strength. It relieves you of the downright impossible burden of trying to study absolutely everything connected to your topic. Let's look at the difference. A weak direction, like leadership and employee performance in organizations, has basically zero limits. But a manageable topic, packed with boundaries, like focusing strictly on the relationship between transformational leadership behaviors and performance perceptions among entry-level sales employees in regional banking, well, that actually respects your available time. It respects your financial resources and your real-world access to data as a student. And finally, part 6, topic development is iterative. Arriving at that perfectly bounded, highly defensible topic statement is not something you're just going to knock out on a Tuesday afternoon. It requires a continuous revision loop. You read the literature, you identify the gaps. Then you examine feasibility and consider the methodology. You refine your wording, you narrow your populations, and you redefine your variables. And then you do it all again. I know some students feel like they're somehow failing if their topic keeps changing, but actually, scratch that. Frequent refinement is a sign that you are developing a much stronger research awareness. A poorly developed topic stays the same simply because the student isn't digging deep enough. So, as you are working through this iterative loop, I want you to constantly pause and ask yourself this absolutely critical litmus test question. Could this realistically support a single doctoral research study? Perform a rhetorical audit on your own working topic. If it sounds like the title of a textbook, keep funneling. But if it suggests specific variables, a measurable population, and clear boundaries, then you, my friend, are on the right track. Which brings us to our final takeaway. Broad subjects create possibility. Narrow topic statements create research. Learning the discipline of narrowing is one of the most powerful, game-changing skills you'll develop in your doctoral journey. So embrace the funnel. Narrowing your focus doesn't make your work less important. It makes it clear, it makes it manageable, and it makes it academically defensible. Now take a really hard look at your current idea. Are you still just having a broad conversation, or are you actually ready to design a focused study? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and absolute best of luck as you refine your research.